You like Mozart.
Much better, except for maybe unaccompanied by. I like Mozart. So good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us at this very, very special master class. This is actually our final master class of the fall semester here, and it's a big banger. We're so thrilled that Professor Almita Vamos is with us today. One of the most beloved violin teachers in the country. I'm allowed to say that. I think let's just say respected. Okay. And it was really wonderful that Professor Vamos is with us today. We'll hear from two violinists. Our first performer is Jiaray Shi. Jiaray is a student of Guillaume Combet, and he will be playing the first movement of the Mozart Fourth Concerto. Jiaray?
Yeah, all good.
So I know you're very musical and you have a good ticket. So anything I say beyond that, some of the things I think are very important. Some things are ideas, personal. So one criticism that I have is that your sound is a little superficial, and the bow is not wieldy. We make all our music with this long stick, which is very difficult. So, and the bow has the thing about the bow is that I call the lower half the gold part of the bow, and then nothing. This is nothing here. So I use the top of the bow to change the stroke or hold the note longer. I try to stay away from it in the fast note because when you get up there, it's so dainty and light. And to project, you don't want to be loud, but you want to have a projection. And I miss that a little bit in your playing. These are the main things that I would talk about in your playing. The other thing is you're a little distracting with your feet. And so if I treat myself worse than I'm going to treat you, much worse. I'm very critical of myself. So when I see myself, I'm very old. So when I see myself performing, notice I'm a little bit like that. I think that's not so terrible. I don't like it. So what's happening is you're putting a lot of weight on this foot. And I think if you move, it's great. Move with your feet better than, I much prefer somebody that like you who plays with the violin still, you're doing this, and you're not doing this all the time. That's right. By more weight on the left side, what I recommend is feet hip distance apart. This gives us that latitude. And you can move with the legs, you can walk with the legs a little bit. You're kind of doing this side of thing, and then even hear it. So practice in front of the mirror, get your violin, especially in Mozart, you don't want too much distraction. All right, I just went and saw the Marriage of Figaro. So when I was little, I used to study with a teacher in Chautauqua where I teach now. And they used to have a different opera every week. And so as a child, I went to see we got free because I was in the youth orchestra. I would go to the opera and I would see the dress rehearsals, and then I'd sneak into the performance after intermission. So I was raised on opera. Great thing for a violinist. I realized one day that not only did I have great teachers all my life, I was very lucky, but I feel like I'm very influenced by the opera. So I'm very attached to Mozart. And I think it was very beautiful. I was so happy when you started that you're not too slow, because Mozart, when you play it under tempo, is so boring. It doesn't have the life and the fun that it does. I felt like the introduction was a little on the fast side, and little by little you ended in the tempo. I felt that was your tempo. It started out a little too fast. So let's get to the book, because that's the main thing. This, I'll let you look in the mirror, watch yourself. I watch myself on a video, especially when I give a concert, and then I kind of judge. This could look better, this, could sound better, posture could be better. Everybody's watching you, so believe me, they're looking at you, and every motion that you make, if it goes against the grain, it's important. The height of stance. Good. Yeah, not bad. All right, let's start again, and I'll stop you and we'll talk about the bow. Okay, so good, very good. So I always say the first few notes is your introduction to the audience. So you started out pretty well. There's nothing terrible or anything. But if you do this, it's not the same as probably singing bum 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 bum. So they didn't. So some people play really heavy and everything. It's just a little. It's a little trumpet, not a big one. Bum 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 bum. So I would phrase it bum 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 instead of da 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 da. But not for this. Da bum 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 bum. And it's still a bugle call. It's still a march, but it's not a heavy march. So I wouldn't use. I wouldn't start with a lot of them. Actually, that's the way I played it when I first learned it. When we studied many years ago, people say, "Oh, the old masters, the old masters." They were great, but it was a completely different style. The advent of the musicologist didn't happen until the 60s. And I'll tell you a funny story that it's not very flattering to my husband and I. But when I was at Juilliard, some people became musicologists, and my husband and I laughed. We go, "Oh, they can't play above third position, so they're going to become musicologists." Well, they changed everything for us. It's so amazing. Delving into the history and style, and everything is different now. So when I listen to Szigeti, I listen to Szigeti play. That's a different era. Now, it's a different time. So we know a lot more about Mozart and his style than we did then. We didn't study it the same way. So I had a wonderful teacher. He was a great musician. I played which you're not doing. But there's a lot of things. I feel like the classical period it came from the Baroque. And in the Baroque, when you play a note, there's a little ebbing at the end of the note. You don't go. So in Mozart, get the try to keep that character in your stroke the way I say it, and see if you like that. And stay away from the tip. That's for going to sleep and ending the piece. There's nothing there. This is the tip, by the way, everybody. Now, you can make it sound. I was just showing the natural. This is natural what happens. So when you play, when you play here, let's say, it's not the same sound. It doesn't project. Good, very good. Could you say it now? That was nice. You could do it that way. Bum 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 with a lot of joy, and here I am. Project a little bit more. And you're in Carnegie Hall, and I've got cheapest ticket. I'm way in the back. Try to play for me. Okay, yeah. So is it da da dee da 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 da, or is it da da dee da 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 dee da Second. So how much bow do you think I'm going to use for ya da dee da dum?
That's not the last
How much did you use?
one.
This is the way I treat myself, by the way. I'm no different with you than I am. Oh my gosh, I become myself. And when I'm finished, I ask my husband, how does this sound? And then he picks on me. There is always something to say, always. There's always a but. That's what my sister's student once said. She said, today you're playing very well, and he said, there's always a but. So we will take it apart and see what we can do. Yeah. Okay, there's a little thing there. I bought many years ago for $75. This was when $75 was a lot of money. and he doesn't have any dots or any arrows on those notes. So I try to make them a little different, bum, bum, because if they had a little, what do you call those little
Carrot.
arrows, whatever, it's not short and it's not a dot. So bum, 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 bum. I would just probably use a little more bow, and each note just an eighth note. Okay. In my part, they put those little things there. I took them off because in the Mozart's handwriting, they don't have any of those. So I thought, okay, that might make it a little different. And then so make a big difference. Use a little more bow and work your way down, right there. Okay, I'm so shy. Don't look at me. And more this way. Don't crawl into the fetal position when you play. Up, violin up. And now don't really say, I always I use way too much the word don't. I shouldn't do that. Work your way down. Yes. Okay, listen. I'm exaggerating. So I have to work on that to make it even. I remember Mr. Persinger always thinking, instead of he would always have me sing without exaggerating. So I like to use all the full here, 200, somebody once counted them. I didn't know why, but he counted them in 200 years. And maybe he was up over here. Anyhow, you want to try all the years. And don't play each note the same. You can rotate the bow, so you use a little and the top note. Okay. Got it enough. Two little bows. So that gives it, the only difference, it's a petty little thing, and nobody in the audience is going to really care at all. It's just for you. It gives it a little more line. And then singing. Don't play up here. No, you play up here. About here, just 3/4 of the way. Now, okay, one more thing. To do it with a little bit more, like, energy. I like this idea. By the bridge. Yeah, okay, so it's off. Oh, no, I don't like you. Why not? Because I said so. So many, it's opera. It's like, that's what I see when I go to the opera. And have you gone to see Marriage of the Room? Yeah. You should. You should. You get the idea, because I think that's where all of these ideas come from. So it's little snippets, and they're talking. It's conversation. So you know that Mozart, he was very obedient to his father, and he wanted to write operas. And his father said, "You haven't written any violin concertos. You will go and write 5 violin concertos." And if it was Victoria, she would have said, "No, I won't." But he said, "Okay," and he did. And he wrote 5 violin concertos. But he was really writing 5 operas, because that's what was in his head. So I hear the opera, I hear the characters. And that's how we keep this more interesting, because you're really telling a story, and a very mischievous story. And a little more south, by the bridge. A little more south, I don't hear you, by the bridge.
walks are the big mouth.
See, all of that is taking place, and it's so much fun if you can handle it. It's just very hard. By the way, don't worry about me. I do this all the time. I'm kind of annoying, but it's fun. Sometimes I do a master class and I find out years later somebody said, "Mrs. Amos, she's so mean, she's not nice, she's so horrible." And then I realized I know what's wrong. I want to give you your money's worth. So I'm just telling you this. I can't help it. They're paying me $100. So the thing is that the little details, and they're so important. And I want to, if you were taking 5 lessons with me, I could discuss one thing. I want to give you an idea that we change them. So now, what about the knee bends? Knee bends are very much in vogue nowadays. It's like, oh, you have to relax, bend your knees, bend your knees. Well, I don't think they mean that. I think that knees are, they don't want your body to be rigid. But if you go down, it should be a reason that you're going down to express something. But so many times I see people bending like they're counting with their bees or something. It's distracting. I think Heifetz was more right. And Milstein. That was the one thing from the olden days, I think. Very nice to watch. That posture was very good. All right. Now, my posture's better because I sit all the time. Can we go from here? And it's a mood, it's a character. Okay, great. Could you just do this? Use less bow. Use more here and play closer to the bridge. And just this passage. More like Isaac Stern now. We're one of those big people. And they would never play because they wouldn't be Isaac Stern if they did that. They would also not get much money. They won't be heard. Therefore, you have to have that content. You want to try again here, and let's sing out. That's nice. Yeah, so, yeah, very good. That was much better. And I don't want you to get the wrong impression that Mrs. Famos wants you to play close to the bridge all the time. No, I want you to play here, 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 with the hair sometimes this way and sometimes this way. Lots of bow, little bow at the frog, at the tip, in the middle, and less, not here, over here. Because the bow is making, we don't have pedals, we don't have anything else. This is all we have to make distinction in our sound. I don't think your sound is, I think it can be easily because you have good technique. I don't think your sound is penetrating enough. I don't think it's there enough. I feel like sometimes you go out, you zone out. All right, let's continue. Yeah, good, great. I think it's better, no?
Yeah?
Much better, I hear you. Could you change this bowing, that's the Mozart bowing, and I think it gives it that kind of, I don't know, humor. So it's kind of something. See, you could be a little bit more contrasting moods all the time. That's the difference between him and Mozart and Tchaikovsky. Very long lines, but he has all the characters mixed up together. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So it's fun. Okay, good. Let's start. Okay, this is my favorite spot to make students annoyed with me because they have to do orchestral auditions, and I know that everybody's just like this. You know, they're what we said, they get their bagels in the morning, and they're just really, and then they wait to see if you could be out of tune. And of course, everybody is. So it's really hard. Don't move your hand. Don't move your hand here. Just the whole step. And then jump. Except for what I did with my bow, I probably almost get the job. All right, let's try it. Intonation. They're waiting for you. Almost, yeah. So I just changed. I used to go to. I changed it to four. And then more likely you'll get the job if you use a four. It's easier to not miss. Yeah. So this, anyhow, I'm not going to spend time on it. This is if you're in graduate school and you're looking to get a job. That's a section I would practice like crazy. All right, go on. Don't worry about it now. You're not in college yet. You're not a master's degree student. You're going to get the job. Don't worry. You will by then. I like to play with a loose bow. I like to feel the whole. I like to feel the string instead of look at my bow. Right in the middle. Yeah, go on. Go on. Okay, and then at the end you can let it ring. Okay, very nice. You know what? I looked at the clock and I do have to stop. Unfortunately, I wish I could stay all day and to get out by 11. So I want everybody to just. You are very good violinists. You don't have anything to worry about, and you're young still. So these are some ideas you can share with your teacher. I haven't really changed anything except wearing the bow and a few little ideas about the moves, how you can change the moves. And also posture with the legs and all of these things are really important because eventually, and I know you'll get to the finals, eventually they'll see you. So by the time you play the concerto, if you decide you want to do an orchestra job or if you're on the stage playing a soloist, everybody's looking at you. So every little motion you make is going to define who you are. So if you're like this a little bit, it's not the same as somebody who comes out, know-it-all. I'm the greatest. That's what you have to say. I'm the greatest. Thank you.
Our next performer is Dan third movement of Tchaikovsky, violin concerto, and both young men are being accompanied by our staff accompanist, Judy Kim.
It already went away. And he was also, he gave a lot of literature, so I would study 3 concertos a year, not one. And there weren't competitions and things where you stayed on one movement. So somehow I feel like my first movements were strong, second movements pretty strong. Last movements, they would give me about a week. And I never memorized them, 2 weeks. And then he said everything he had to say musically, and so, come on, next piece, I wasn't menu, and he taught menu, and he taught Ricci, and maybe they learned it in 2 weeks, and I didn't. So, to make a long story short, I have a young boy who's doing a competition, and he's playing the last movement of Tchaikovsky for me, and his fingers go so fast, and I'm looking at it, oh, wow. I do a lot of sonatas when I do concerts now, and I gotta get my fingers to move like that. So I've been practicing this. Yeah, getting ready for you too. 152 is the fastest I let anybody play it. Already I think it's too fast. You have to be very careful, work with the metronome, because I think it was only one spot she had to adjust for you, and the orchestra doesn't do that. They actually, most orchestras don't even know you're there. They go like this, and that's you're there, and whoever you are, you're going to follow them. So they cheap adjust it. I liked your opening a lot. I don't really have a lot of difference in the opening. Maybe I would, I used to actually, for a while I was having my students lift the bow, and then I don't do that. I do release the stroke, but I don't even stop. And I would make a little bit even, I love the way you did it, I do it even more. I love the fact that you didn't do I've heard it done that way, not good. You want to try again from the opening. Don't jump in right away. Dum, bum, bum. So violin pacing is singing. So if you sing bum, 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 oh, you can't get down there, right? You can't do it. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, then you come in. And that's the way, that's how much time you don't want to take too much time. You want to sing it. Start a little deeper in the string. Not too short yet. And then let it get short. Too early. I'll get you in. Play again. So some people go, and then about half an hour later they go, I don't really love that because I think that should still be a part of it. But I do flow a little bit so it's natural. So, and I take a little time here. Bum, 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 hum, ba-da-da. It's still part of that, but take a little, don't go too fast there. Make more time on a little return. He doesn't write it in, but make it more like, I really mean it. So you take a little time. And then you go. One more time, do it with me. Like in the beginning, make sure the rhythm is perfect. Yeah, really rhythmical. Not so worried about the speed. Your speed is plenty fast. And sometimes the bonus might not be. Yeah, maybe a little less, but let me watch you do that. Give me these notes, not but grab the every note, catch. So, you know what? I think you don't use your pinky finger enough. I like to keep the finger a little, this is in the Guillaume book, if you look, Principle of Teaching. He says you have 4 octagonals and the pinky is behind here. Well, I always feel like when there's a little too much space, that the pinky is sort of there, but it's not doing anything, and I want it to work. Let's just try, no, not this. Like this is, it's easy to hold the bow. Hi, how are you doing? Let's have some, okay, got the bow. Nothing, I don't do anything, this is it. Pinky behind, and then, I want to use so I'm doing it very slow now. Try it, and then don't worry about it for a while, but just see what it feels like. So, down, down. Now too fast. And put it even closer. And behind. Yeah. Now let it go. And then what we do is down. But don't put this out. Just relax. Now let the first finger hang. You do have a beautiful bow. No, don't do this. Don't do that. Just let it relax. Do it with the hand. Very relaxed. But let the pinky, feel the pinky out. Yeah. And then, of course, have to have a great bow that likes to bounce. Okay, raise your arm a little bit because you're bouncing down. Not too high. I have your bow, and every bow is different. I'm not trading, I just want to trade. Can I try something? It's an idea, and you might be more right. Let's try it this way, very flat. loose, make it tighter. That's easy material. I just want to see just most natural. Yeah. What's the pinky feel like now? Looks good. How does it feel? Terrible? It's okay? Yeah. It's right there, and I use the pinky. I use the pinky a lot. More than I'm not a fan of this. Loose is okay, I guess, but more. Yeah, and when I had you raise your arm, so you're not too high, but you're a little bit higher, so you're bouncing down, not this. Yeah. And then you also, it's very hard. You have to have the bow at the perfect angle. You're supposed to do it. Yeah. Okay. Now let's skip some of this because you really too good. You don't really have to be better at this. You're really well done. Great. Let's do. So I have a few things to say about this part. My husband, when he would teach this, I noticed in the music, he would put on top. He doesn't do it now, but I reminded him, if you forgot he did this, beer dance, a beer dancing. Oh, a Russian beer. And then, can I hear you play with our I have a suggestion. Okay, all right, whoop-dee-doo. Wow, that's really nice. However, I don't think it's whoop-de-doo. I think it's, but this is like, well, this is famous things, but who cares what this is famous things? It's not a big deal. I think something else. Keep your idea. Keep your idea. You're using a passionate slide. When you're in love, oh. And this, I don't think the beer is that much. Not that big. And then the way you did it was more whoop, like whoop-dee-doo. But yeah, I like Mr. Vamos' idea, whether he remembers it or not. And then this is something else that a lot of people go, that is Tchaikovsky's bar, and I like it. Okay, you want to try that? You want to try my way? You can always go back to your way. So you're going to shift the I call it the authoritarian shift. I mean business, not love and love. Idea, somebody else's idea, they're all perfect. They're all wonderful. Every idea is wonderful. One of the reasons, what am I going to do at a master class? I'm going to give you my idea, right? But one of the reasons I do it, one of my students just got into a major orchestra, and she passed everybody, and then the new conductor came in, and he said, could you do this? Could you do that? So I think it's a very good try for you. Okay, she wants me to do that. Can I do it? What if the conductor said, can you do that? You're not going to say no. You're going to do it, right? You have to be ready. So now I gave you an idea. You do it my way, if you can, as best you can, and I'll hire you for my orchestra. Lots of money. Let me give you another idea. Very clean player. He writes million times they try to do something different to show off, you know, at the last minute, so they start Brahms, get Jiaray up instead of down. I mean, it's a way to show I can do anything. This is a nice idea. Yours idea is not bad either. I prefer this because it's always in my head anyway. Now, I've been practicing the double stop octaves going up. Howard took them out, and Tchaikovsky wasn't playing. He just wrote the octaves in. Actually, with an orchestra, probably just doing the top note would be fine, but keep practicing your octaves. It's good to practice them, and you can show off if you get them in tune. Otherwise, I would just play the top. Now, can we go on to the da-da-dee, da-da-dee-da-da? Oh, one more thing. I'm going to probably stop you, so I don't want to have to stop you. First fingers, I once held a lesson with Eugene Lehner. You probably don't know who he is. He used to be the violist teacher at New England Conservatory and first violist of the Boston Symphony. And for some reason, we were being coached by him. He said, first fingers don't vibrate. You have to tell it to. Fourth fingers the same. So many times, it's the first finger that didn't get vibrato. I noticed. I'm warning you, vibrate it first. Tell it to vibrate. It was good advice. Let's talk about something else now. And we don't have in this movement, or in the Mozart, it wasn't talked about vibrato and difference vibrato. So you have a wonderful vibrato. I wish I had your vibrato too. Here, it's melancholy, isn't it? Your vibrato is so cheerful. So, wow. I wish I had that vibrato, but here I don't wish I know how to make that vibrato happen if I need it. I'm more comfortable with less. So let's try maybe holding more fingers down instead of just one finger or maybe 4 fingers. A chance for us to establish a completely different mood. Deep, even though it's piano, deep in the string. Oh, my heart. Get even more. A lot less motion. There's a polka retard going on. So maybe not too much. And then I like what you did. And then polka rallentando. Don't make the rallentando too early. It's little by little. So keep that tempo. You don't want to completely die. You are very good, and it's good that you move a little bit. Thank goodness you do that. But I was wondering, it's like you are like an actor on the stage with your body too. here I would probably and then wait till here. So it gets a little boring if you go, each time the same. So that's a place where, yes, we play in rhythm and everything, but we're not tied to the metronome all the time. I have to stop it. You're a great violinist, and I think this is good because you try different things, and you're very quick at getting different ideas. It doesn't mean that everything I say you have to do, but of course you do much better. I'm sort of joking.
Sort of.
I always like to leave a few seconds at the end, a few minutes. We do have 10 minutes. I have to be downstairs. Questions? Denials?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you say are like the 2 or 3 most important things a performer, or somebody who's going to be on stage performing should be always thinking about or aware of?
Getting your thoughts in the back row. Here's one boy I know he's ridiculous in many ways, and we all are, but he did a master class rate check. It's right. I used to feel this way when I was younger. I was more of a performer, and I want to get into the lap of the person in the back row. So projecting your mood out, because classical music is basically really boring. How many times, and let's be honest, how many times have you gone to a concert and they start playing, and after 2 seconds, he was born in the 1400s. But then there are people that you go and you're very tired and you don't want to hear the concert at all, and you wake up and it's like you walk home and you're on a cloud. It's something special. So talk to the audience and as much as you can, get the mood out. Not just any mood, really think about the mood. The mood could be less dead, or it could be, but you're like an actor. My nephew and niece are actors, and we talk about this all the time. From the moment you walk on the stage, you're being watched. And there are some people that it looks like, well, they may not play very well, but their first impression is like, wow, they're the best in the world. So that's important. And everything you do with this bow has to be so expressive because, and makes so much sense because it is kind of boring. So you have to make it come out of the page, jump out of the page. That's why I like to give these ideas, even if you want to do absolutely opposite, as long as you're doing something. Always thinking, I don't want to be bored. And sometimes when I think of concert, this has happened, there's always an old man who stays in the front row. I said, oh, you're right. Right on, wake up, wake up. I try very hard to make sure that I'm making a statement, I'm saying something, don't go to sleep. I think Paul Cantor used to tell one of my former students, whatever you are, don't ever be boring. Now, you're not boring, and either was the boy before you. Both of you. Very charismatic, very beautiful players. But, always are, how can I do more? How can I be more? And sometimes less is more. As we said, don't move here, just like this. Okay, you asked a very good question, young lady. Are you a violinist too? Did you have a very new teacher?
I'll tell you about it.
Okay, I want to know. Dorothy DeLay? All right, any other questions? Posture.
Now's your chance.
I must have said it all, yes.
Come on, guys.
It's just very basic question as a violinist. So if I want to improve my playing better fast passage, like Chekhov's third movement, then what kinds of
Practicing?
yeah, so like
Oh, I wish I had somebody who could give me a magic answer. So I'm going to try read a book, it was about a sculptor, and he was talking about his hands, and it was a really interesting book. He said the fingers have a mind of their own. So what you have to do is train over and over and over the fingers. Then because you have a brain, you don't want to depend on the fingers. So perhaps you can really learn the first note. And you over and again. 5 hours have passed, 6 hours, a little faster. Wow, I got a little faster. And now I can and then you stop thinking about it. And you try to and memorize when you have fast. Memorize as you go. Don't wait till the last day. Because you cannot read and play fast. It has to be natural. It has to come here. It will come, and you will get faster, but you have to practice longer. And because I'm old, my brain is not as quick as theirs, so it doesn't happen as fast. So I'm very patient with this, and I come back and then my fingers are not coordinated again, but it's better than the first day, and that gives me hope. And the second day is, then I don't practice 2 days, and then it's back to almost 1. But it's not 1, it's a little ahead of 1. And so, and you can also, don't forget about the 12th second. Then I usually have the hold note. I can remember that. Because I can't say 1, 3, 1, 2, I can't play that fast. So but I can remember. Now I have to get the bow to bounce at the same time. So it's a lot of work. It might take many, many hours of practicing. Violin playing is, my assistant once said, the violin isn't so hard. It just takes so damn long. And that's the truth. It just takes a long time. Now, some people are faster, and I have a student who plays a piece 3 times, and then he's playing from memory. And no, that's not me. I could take a year, so I give myself a year. He gives himself 3 weeks. And then I say to myself, instead of crying, but I am more familiar with the music than he is. I'm more deep. I am more connected with the music because it took me a long time. It's not really true, but it makes me feel good. Okay, I think I'm now going to go to a memorial.
Well, thank you.
Mrs. Vamos, we really thank you for being here, and I'm sorry.
I'm so happy that we're not on Zoom. Too late Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy you're here. And so I think we all are.
When we have Zoom, it goes like, dum, dum, dum.
So, but for you to be here with our students and with everyone here, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
And we hope the rest of your trip goes well
It
for
will
you.
be a celebration, actually.
Okay, well, that's good. And anytime you're in Philadelphia, we'd love to have you come join us. But thank you once again. Thank you all. Everyone have a good weekend. I'll visit the rest of the day, so we'll all work hard and practice, right?
Take a long time.